Psalm 3. In Psalm 3, it is written, O Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. In Psalm 3, King David is speaking about his enemies. He is telling that he's got a lot of enemies, and his enemies are not inactive and dormant. His enemies are rather active, and they have risen against him. So he is asking the Lord for his help. And may God protect him from his enemy. Now the question comes that who is your enemy? Now the general perception is that only the big men, the big guys out there have their enemies, the kings, the politicians, the rich men, the businessmen. But this idea is basically wrong. Every person, every ordinary person, every poor person has an enemy. It's all about identifying that particular enemy. Even God has an enemy, and that's Satan, that we know. Big countries like America and others also have their enemy. So we find that all have some sort of enemy. And if we deny that we don't have enemy, then it's just like closing our eyes. If you say that you don't have any enemy, then you are just closing your eyes. The reality does not change if we close our eyes. If we just say that Satan is our enemy, the devil is our enemy, then it's not just sufficient. The point what is important is that if we ignore our enemy, then one day the enemy will strike us and harm us. If you ignore your enemy, then the enemy will strike you one day. If you think that you are all good and you don't have any enemy, then Psalm 3 is something that won't interest you. But if you admit that you too have some enemy, that you too have a weakness, then Psalm 2 could be interesting to you. And we will continue our study of Psalm 3. In Psalm 3, King David is talking about some enemy. Who is this enemy? If you read the book of 2 Samuel, we find that there is one person named Absalom. In Psalm 3, David is talking about an enemy who is none other than this person, Absalom, his son. What happened was that Absalom, son of David, killed his brother Amnon due to some family-related issues that we can read in 2 Samuel. So David was very upset with Absalom, and he told him not to come before him. But Absalom conspired against David, and he continued on it. Later on, David accepted Absalom in spite of his killing of his brother, but Absalom continued with his conspiracy. And later a time came when Absalom declared himself as the king of Israel. And David had to run away for his life. He was afraid of his son Absalom. His son had now become his enemy. And during those times, he wrote this Psalms 3. Psalm 3 is about David fleeing from his enemy, his son Absalom. Now, the concept of enemy can be complex. Even your own relatives can become your enemy. Your very near and dear one can become your enemy. What's important is to understand that, to realize and identify your enemy. The meaning, the gist of Psalm 3 is also about the human weakness which is admitted before the Lord. In Psalm 3 we find David is admitting his weakness, that, oh God, I am not perfect, that it is not as such that I have got only friends. Some people don't like me, and I do have some enemies, and my enemies could harm me anytime. They can attack me anytime. So, oh God, you are my Savior. You are the one who protects me. So, oh God, protect me. This is the inner meaning of Psalms 3, where David is opening himself before the Lord. He's telling God about his weakness. He is not perfect. He's got many friends, but still he's got some enemies, and they could attack him anytime. So, oh God, protect me. Protect me. So we continue reading Psalms 3. O Lord, how many are my foes? How many rise up against me? Many are saying of me, God will not deliver him. But you are a shield around me, O Lord. You bestow glory on me and lift up my head. To the Lord I cry aloud, and he answers me from his holy hill. I lie down and sleep, I wake again because the Lord sustains me. I will not fear the tens of thousands drawn up against me on every side. Rise, O Lord, deliver me, O my God. Strike all my enemies on the jaw and break the teeth of the wicked. From the Lord comes deliverance. May your blessing be on your people. Shalah.